If you were a child of the 1990s, you must have memories of the captivating storytelling in Disney animations. However, you probably know very little about the Walt Disney Company, just like everyone else. You would likely only recognize that it is in Florida. Tell you what, the Disney Company does not begin with the iconic Mickey Mouse cartoon that has become the company's brand symbol. In fact, Walt Disney's first series was Alice in Wonderland. Mickey Mouse was created in a later period. The company has experienced many ups and downs throughout its history, and at one point was even on the verge of bankruptcy. In today's video, we will discuss the timeline of Disney's history and how from making cartoons, the company was able to build some of Disney World's most popular theme parks. Well, Walt Disney's beginnings were quite humble. Walt Disney was ultimately saved from bankruptcy in 1923 when he signed a contract with Margaret J. Winkler, the first female animated film producer. This event marked the beginning of what would eventually become the Walt Disney Company, then known as the Disney Brothers Cartoon Studio. In the same year, Disney made the short Alice's Wonderland. This combination of live action and animation was intended to be the pilot episode of a series. Walt Disney and his chief animator, Ub Iwerks, created Oswald the Lucky Rabbit as their first animated cartoon character in 1927. This was a monumental achievement for the Walt Disney Company. On September 5, 1927, Oswald makes his debut in Trolley Troubles, which would become Disney's most popular animated film of all time. As the company was experiencing financial difficulties in 1928, it negotiated a contract with producer Mintz. Mintz was able to recruit Oswald and the majority of Disney's animators. As a result, Walt felt discouraged, and it was then that he came up with the character of Mortimer. Mickey Mouse was his wife Lillian's recommendation for a more approachable name for the mouse. In fact, they were unaware at the time that Mickey would become the most popular animated character in history and the foundation for a large business empire. Soon, the Disney animators, including Ub, began working on the finer details of Mickey Mouse at the Disney studio. After its release, Steamboat Willie was the first animated film to feature Mickey Mouse. It was also the first animated film with synchronized sound, putting an end to the silent era. Walt Disney and his brother Roy split their business partnership in 1929, forming four distinct companies: Walt Disney Productions Ltd., Walt Disney Enterprises, Lyle Realty and Investment Company, and Disney Film Recording Company. This allowed the rapidly expanding company to improve the management of every aspect of its operations. Flowers and Trees was the first film to use the tri-technicolor technique. In addition, it was the first Disney short to win the Academy Award for Best Animated Short Subject. In 1932, it was released in theaters. Disney was so impressed by the quality of the movie that he immediately negotiated an exclusive one-year license to use it. Moving forward, in 1937, Walt Disney released Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the first feature-length film in its whole. During the Great Depression, the film was briefly the most lucrative sound film. The moviegoers flocked to theaters and spent a record $8 million on the film, making it the highest-grossing sound film ever. In 1940, Disney began trading publicly by offering its first stock to the public. Intriguingly, if you had invested at the time, the value of your stock would have grown several 10 times the amount that you initially put in. Disney decides to relocate its headquarters to Burbank, California, after releasing its stocks and experiencing success in both the stock market and in movie theaters. Since then, the company has maintained a presence at this location through the present day. Disney's first live-action film, Treasure Island, and its first television program, 1 Hour in Wonderland, started in 1950. Both of these works were released at the same time. Both were enormous successes and helped pave the way for the Walt Disney Company to pursue new opportunities. In 1952, the Walt Disney Company became known as WED Enterprises after undergoing a name change. Walt continues with the plan despite opposition from many stockholders. WED Enterprises is the division we've come to know as Imagineering. WED grew into a very important part of the Walt Disney Company, and it is now considered by many to be one of the most important parts of the company. The next significant development was Disneyland. After years of preparation and planning, Disneyland opened in 1955. The company's leader had the idea of constructing a park where families and children could have fun together. In the dedication that Walt wrote, he expresses this sentiment by stating, "To all who come to this happy place, welcome, Disneyland is your land. Here age relives fond memories of the past, and here youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future. Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals, the dreams, and the hard facts that have created America, with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world. 1964's Mary Poppins was Walt Disney's next major accomplishment following the release of Disneyland. Mary Poppins is regarded as Disney's most profitable live-action film. A number of songs composed by the Sherman Brothers are performed by Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke, including the Oscar-winning song, Chim Chim Cheree. Walt Disney, the company's founder, was responsible for laying the groundwork for the Florida Project, a code name for Walt Disney World. However, he was never able to break ground on the project. He passed away on December 15, 1966, after being diagnosed with lung cancer. In the 1960s, the Walt Disney Company grew significantly. Walt's brother, Roy O. Disney, who was planning to retire, postponed his decision so he could oversee the project. When Walt first envisioned Disney World, he also envisioned an experimental prototype community of tomorrow, which would be a real community with people living and working there. Tokyo Disneyland, Disney's first park outside of the United States, first opened its doors in 1983. Tokyo Disneyland is a lasting symbol of the goodwill and willingness to cooperate between Japan and the United States. The first play performed on October 9, 1983, was Tiger Town. In 1984, Walt's nephew was unhappy with how the company was being run. He came up with a plan to replace his cousin-in-law as chairman and president with Michael Eisner and Frank Wells. Under Eisner's leadership, Disney was prepared to begin the Disney Decade, which would involve a slew of new attractions and films, as well as significant advancements for the company. While things did not go quite as planned, Disney grew under Eisner's leadership. Prior to Eisner's takeover, Ron Miller was chairman and CEO of the Walt Disney Company. During his tenure, he founded Touchstone Pictures, which allowed Disney to produce pictures with mature themes without jeopardizing the reputation of the company's family-friendly films. Splash, the first Touchstone feature, was released after Eisner took charge. It practically paid for itself in the first weekend and finished the year as the 10th highest-grossing film. In 1986, Walt Disney Productions was renamed the Walt Disney Company. Since then, Disney has continuously adapted to modern trends while continually expanding upon its rich legacy. Now the Walt Disney Company is one of the world's largest media and entertainment companies. It is also home to some of the world's most respected and beloved brands, including Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, ESPN, and National Geographic. That's all for today. Which Disney play is your favorite? Tell us in the comments section. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, share, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Big Company Business will be back next week. Thank you for watching.